Okay, happy fashion weeks, whatever you are doing for fashion week. I am currently in my house, and on Friday, I will be in Milan. There are a few things I want to talk about today, here with my tea, beautiful, beautiful mug. Number one, does it matter for someone to talk about something if they don't have a professional background? Number two, the current state of fashion criticism. Number one, the reason why I want to talk about number one is because this is something that I constantly run into as someone, me, as someone that has not really, worked in the fashion industry per se. Like, I don't have a job that's like working under any fashion company. I don't have any like related freelance, experiences beside brand partnerships, beside my contribution towards other people's article. I don't really have a job in the industry per se. Well, although you can argue that content creator right now is a job itself, influencer, whatever you want to call me. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I've been doing this for 4 years now, and at first, obviously, I know better than to claim to, than to claim to be really knowledgeable or claim to be someone that I'm not. I started out learning and creating video as I'm learning. So I never position myself as I know a lot about this topic, therefore I'm talking about it. Every time I make a video, even now, right now, I'm only speaking from my experience and also keep banging on the fact that I am still learning. And from time to time, I see comments, and yeah, I see comments from people from the industry, big or small, or people outside the industry, big or small. So, most of the time in a nice way, sometimes quite nasty, quite condescending, in a way asking, hey, what are your credentials? Have you ever created anything? Have you ever designed anything for you to be talking about designers' work? Have you ever worked with any brands for you to be criticizing what they're doing with, with their PR, with their marketing or anything like that? It just baffles me sometimes, because why does it matter if someone has related background experience or not? Like, obviously, if you're trying to get really technical, like if I'm talking about something really technical, if I'm criticizing the use of fabric here, if I'm criticizing, you know like something more specific and detailed, I guess it makes sense for people to ask, hey, this is something that is not just, this the kind of knowledge that's not just acquired through reading or writing or watching videos. It is something that you kind of have to be hands-on with it and have actual practical experience for you to grasp the depth of what's going on. To that, then, it makes sense. But it's not. Most of the time, I'm kind of talking about the nuances, an opinion backed by things I've read, backed by, I guess, fashion history, fashion anthropology, backed by whatever cultural phenomenon I've read about or currently is going on. Why does it matter if on my resume I don't have a certain title and a certain brand? Does it affect the validity of my words? Does it change the way you watch my videos? Because the video's the video, like, it doesn't change no matter if I have a background in certain thing or not. Like, recently I made a video on the Elias show, and the reason why I decide to make videos on different fashion shows sometimes, because either it is really interesting and this intrigued me and I have something to say, or it is a designer that I've been following and I feel like I have a certain reference point in my head. I know how it made me feel last season. I know how it made me feel this season before. And therefore this season I kind of have like a cross reference point, and I feel like my The things I'm going to say about this latest collection or whatever collection I'm going to talk about will have a bit more, once again, more depth and more breadth to it. So I talked about the Elias show, and I said that it felt flat. Whatever I like about Peter Molière, which is in the video I said that oftentimes when he create things, there's layers to it, and when you look at the ensemble, when you look at the garments, there are things that you can slowly descend into when you look at it. Like there are details that you didn't see when you zoom in. It's like, oh, there's this thing. This collection, it looks nice. It looks fresh. It definitely summery. But when I found out that, like the whole collection is gonna be just that, because I saw a few pictures of it. It's like, oh, that's look pretty fresh. And then I click into the whole collection. It's like, oh, is that it? Because it felt like a poor combination of, not poor combination, it felt like a shallow attempt at creating something summary, something more practical. And I'm not sure if this collection is, trying to boost sales, trying to, appeal more to the American fashion market, because part of the collection is definitely, well, Peter said that it is inspired by American fashion history. So with that in mind, I was like, oh, it kind of, like the potential is to obviously create something. I feel like create something more practical, create something easier to wear and style with some Alaya element, but also it is to combine the American, like pay homage to the American fashion history. And knowing that that's where the collection wants to reach, right? This combination, this like good fusion of the both. Knowing that that's where the collection want to reach. And I see where the collection landed, and this gap right here is where when I felt that the collection felt flat. This gap right here is what I think the collection could have done more. Like, could you have, combined American fashion history, you combine the sportiness of American street fashion, combine the high fashion in American fashion history. Could it have been done better? Because it doesn't feel a lie, right? I mean, right now, on top of my head, I can't really formulate clearly in a concise manner. But that's the gist of it. That's not the point what I was going to talk about. And in a comment, someone said that, hey, just want to ask, like, do you have any like related job background in terms of fashion for you to be talking about designers like this? Have you ever designed anything? No, I have not. No, I have not. But doesn't matter, because I'm not shoving this down your throat. It is an opinion. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you can disagree. Like, you can disagree in the comments saying that, oh no, but have you seen this? Like, I'm so open to be corrected in a way. Like, to kind of, I'm so open to people in the comments to change my way of seeing things, because that's what discussion's for. I am not going online saying that this is a really unique opinion and you need to focus on what I'm saying. I'm definitely not saying that. And it definitely like play into, I guess a little bit of imposter syndrome, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I don't think I'll like budge and be like, oh no, I need to find a job in the fashion industry for my words to feel valid on, online. But at the same time, it's like, damn, how do I make my words come across a bit more surgical, a bit more supported in a way? You know what I mean? And that's like something that is like, from time to time, it definitely bugs me. I kind of segue into my thoughts about current state of fashion criticism, because in my opinion, there's definitely a lot of journalism, there's definitely a lot of recording of stuff and commentating on things, but to criticize something, you kind of have to point out why things are good and why things are bad. And it's easy to point out why things are good because I feel like our absorption of positive comments is not as defensive. Not as defensive. It's not as our absorption of positive comment is not as complicated as the absorption of negative comments. So if I say something is good looking, something's fresh, you wouldn't necessarily be as defensive and ask me, oh, like if you're the designer, oh, why do you think it's fresh? Why? Tell me, why did you think it was good? Like, you would not react like that. You would just kind of take it as, oh, thank you. Like, that's nice that you see it like that or something like that. But if I out of nowhere said that, the Elia collection, for example, as I said, oh, this collection felt a bit flat compared to other work, you would want to know why. Why did you think it's flat? And including myself and all the writers, not all the writers right now, but the writers that I have read their work from, they kind of fail, or we kind of fail to point out why something is bad in a valid way, in an objective objective, but also obviously super subjective, right? But objective, subjective way, like we just kind of fail to point out why something is bad. And as I said, because the online, like what where we're going with, social media, with online, the fashion journalism industry, everything is about reporting something explosive, reporting something viral. Everything is about reporting, about talking, telling a story, talking about the narrative, talking about the inspiration, talking about the background, showing what's happening at the show, something fun, something, immediately intriguing. We kind of lost track of what pushes art and fashion forward. And that is something that I am trying so hard to improve on because, once again, I'm still learning. I definitely, even on a reporting aspect of fashion, I'm definitely nowhere near someone who has studied, journalism and English major or literature major. Like, they definitely write better than me. But at the same time, I want to improve, or I made it my kind of mission to improve on my skill on criticizing fashion, because it is such a different form of art to criticize. It is kind of the only form of art that is both, that you kind of have to consider the practicality as much as you consider the artfulness of it. Not a lot of other art needs to be that practical, even for film and music. Like, you don't need music in a sense, but you need to wear something, right? And I think currently, because the algorithm favors something that is easy to digest, it kind of, like, people lost the focus on what is equally important in terms of fashion journalism, in terms of fashion writing, which is the criticism part of it. And just because you express an opinion, just because you said something is bad, doesn't mean you're criticizing it. Like, I said something is flat, I'm not criticizing it, I'm just expressing an opinion. That is not, I would not formally call that a criticism. And yeah, it's just, I'm just reflecting. I'm just kind of in a zone where I'm like paralyzed because I don't know where to learn from. I don't know how to learn. I don't know where I'm at right now. And sometimes when I look back at my work, like written work, it just felt like, man, I should not have published this. I should not have posted this. But I guess you learn from mistakes, or you learn from whatever doesn't satisfy you and you walk away from it, or you try to improve it. And that's what I want. That's like, I want the fashion community, at least those who care, not just to consume, like those who want to create, those who want to keep the fashion discourse going. I want to kind of bring good criticism back. I want to be able to revive this side of fashion in the age of virality.